Pope Leo warns, never wear this garment during Holy Mass. This can be serious. Heaven is watching. What you wear to Mass might be leading souls to ruin. My beloved children, please listen. What I'm about to say may offend your fashion sense, but it will defend your soul. These are not the words of an angry critic or a cranky traditionalist. They are a spiritual siren, a fatherly cry from a shepherd who sees danger on the horizon. Pope Leo, with the gravity of eternity in his voice, warns us not of political movements, not of financial collapse, but of fabric, of clothing, of what we wear to Mass. Sound strange? It shouldn't. Because in a world where appearance reigns supreme, what we wear can either honor the divine or scandalize his presence. Not about fashion, but about eternity. Too many Catholics walk into church today thinking their outfit is a personal matter, a reflection of comfort or preference. God sees my heart, not my clothes, they say. But Pope Leo answers with clarity and fire, that is only half true. And a half-truth, when it leads the soul into laziness, becomes a deadly lie. Why? Because we are physical beings, and our actions, including how we dress, reveal what's going on inside our hearts. When we choose attire that highlights our body instead of humbling our spirit, we are not just choosing fashion. We're declaring, often without knowing it, that we don't truly understand who is present at the altar. The Holy Mass is not a casual gathering. It is not a conference or a community hangout. It is the representation of the one eternal sacrifice of Christ on Calvary. The same Christ who was crowned with thorns, beaten, spat upon, and crucified, is now mystically present on the altar, body, blood, soul, and divinity. And yet, some walk into this mystery wearing tank tops, miniskirts, see-through blouses, yoga pants, or shirts with irreverent slogans. Would you dress this way if you were meeting the president? A monarch? An angel? Then why would we do so before the King of Kings? A memory that wounds the soul. Pope Leo recalls one moment that remains etched like a wound in his heart. A woman, sincere and devout, came forward to receive communion. Her dress was tight, her neckline low, her shoulders bare. Her heart may have loved God, but her appearance proclaimed a message her lips never spoke. What should have been a sacred encounter became a distraction. As she knelt before the Eucharist, eyes from across the pews turned not toward the altar, but toward her exposed figure. What began as reverence became a battleground of wandering thoughts and misplaced desire. She didn't mean harm. But that's exactly what makes it tragic, because ignorance is often the devil's playground. We don't need to be malicious to cause scandal. We just need to be careless. Immodesty comes in many forms. Let Pope Leo be clear. This is not about rich versus poor, nor is it about fashion versus tradition. It's not about luxury fabrics or designer brands. It's about modesty. And modesty, he says, is a spiritual posture, one that starts in the soul and expresses itself in the body. Immodesty isn't just about seductive clothing. It includes tight jeans that outline every curve, short skirts that rise as you kneel, sleeveless tops that bare the shoulders, transparent fabrics that invite the gaze, casual sportswear that says, "I didn't think twice," t-shirts with vulgar words or irreverent jokes. It's not about how much it costs. It's about how much it conceals, or fails to. Pope Leo asks, if the Blessed Mother stood beside you during the consecration, would you still be proud of your outfit? If an angel descended from heaven during the Gloria, would you be ashamed? Because heaven is watching. The angels know when reverence has been replaced by routine. They see the wandering eyes, the distracted glances, the whispered jokes in the communion line. And yes, they even avert their gaze when immodesty enters God's sanctuary. Reverence isn't old-fashioned. It's sacred. What happened to trembling before the presence of the Almighty? What happened to silence before the mystery? What happened to dressing like we believe that this is the house of God? Today, we spend 2 hours preparing for a party and 5 minutes choosing what to wear to Massachusetts. And then we wonder why the sacred no longer feels sacred. But it is not dead. It is only forgotten. And Pope Leo refuses to stay silent while the soul of the Church suffers from neglect. These garments of casualness and immodesty, these are not neutral choices. They are signals. They tell heaven, this doesn't matter to me. The Eucharist is not just bread. It is Jesus Christ, truly present, wholly divine. And if we believe that, then our clothing should speak reverence louder than any words we say. What should you do now? A call to action. Pope Leo does not leave us in condemnation. He offers a path forward, a way to reclaim reverence, starting with something as simple as a change of clothes and a change of heart. His first plea? Go before God. Alone. In humility. Ask Him sincerely. Lord, have I ever disrespected you at Mass through the way I dress? Then ask for forgiveness. Not with shame, but with courage. Not with fear, but with love. Next, go to your closet. But don't go with just your hands. Go with your conscience. Look at each item you've worn, or plan to wear, to church. And ask, with brutal honesty, does this honor Christ? Does this glorify God or glorify me? Does it cause others to turn toward the altar, or away from it? If a piece of clothing causes distraction, temptation, or self-focus, let it go. If it screams attention instead of humility, replace it. If it reveals more than it conceals, don't defend it. Remove it. Parents, you are the first teachers of modesty. To mothers and fathers, Pope Leo issues a deeper challenge. Your example shapes your children's souls. What you permit, or ignore, forms their idea of reverence. If you send your daughter into God's house in a revealing outfit, don't be surprised when she treats sacred things lightly. If you let your son wear flip-flops and a gym shirt to church, don't be shocked if he stops believing the Eucharist is real. You set the tone. You set the expectation. You show, by your example, that holiness is not a performance, but a way of life. Set the standard now, Pope Leo says, and they will not depart from it. If your parish is silent on this matter, then you be the voice. Not to judge, but to awaken. Not to shame, but to inspire. The restoration of reverence won't come from big movements. It will come from small acts of courage. From ordinary people who dare to dress like they're meeting the King of Glory. Let your clothing preach holiness. And finally, Pope Leo leaves us with one last plea. One last truth, wrapped in love and fire. When you go to Mass next Sunday, don't just show up. Prepare. Pray. Dress. And walk into that church like you are entering the throne room of the Almighty, because you are. Let your garments say what your soul believes. That God is holy. That Jesus is truly present. That this is sacred ground. That you are not there for selfies or social approval. That you came to worship the living God. Let your reverence preach louder than the homily. Let your humility silence the noise of the world. Let your modesty be a testimony in an age of spiritual forgetfulness. Because what you wear to Mass does not just matter, it proclaims, to heaven and to earth, what you believe about the one on the altar. Amen.